have with me two gentlemen, lawyer and public affairs analyst Jide Ologun and Dr. Daniel Kere from the University of Lagos. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll head straight to the papers and we'll start with the Vanguard. Free web operators threaten national security, experts speaking there. Conference participants list dangers to Nigeria by over-the-top OTT operators as expert stakeholders call for urgent strict regulation of OTTs. And we move on to the blueprint. Federal government on 9th National Assembly. We won't work at cross purposes. Senate shift to 8.8 trillion naira to 2019 budget passage to Tuesday. Protesters demand open balloting for principal officers. And on the front page of the Daily Trust, enemy fumes as Ngige says Nigeria has surplus doctors. And on the front page of this day, Amcan by Courtney Bika over Supreme Court judgment. To the nation now, Buhari will improve lives with high-impact facilities. President hails Ambody. We used our resources well, says governor. Well, look at that very soon. And on the front page of the Daily Sun, Reps adjourn abruptly as Shiite storm National Assembly. And Senate to pass 2019 budget Tuesday. And finally, on the front page of The Guardian, doctors can leave. Nigeria has enough, says Ngige. Your figures are wrong, enemy tells minister, laments poor working conditions, funding of health sector. Well, gentlemen, from there we have to look at the story now on the front page of the Nation newspaper, where the president is saying that we'll improve lives with high-impact facilities, just as he was also hailing Governor Ambody for what he was able to achieve recently. Well, yes, just yesterday, the president was in Lagos to commission 5 projects, and they call it the next level projects. We know the Ayinke House and 802 buses, or 820 buses, I beg your pardon, and some other things were, or other projects rather, were, commissioned by the president yesterday. For you, are these next level projects? Are these projects what would impact lives? I'll start with you.
When you talk of high impact facilities, then you look at the beneficiaries. And given the kind of projects that were commissioned, I tie with the Ayinke House, which has to do with providing health for the people. And we expect that the human resources, that we handle that infrastructure, we deliver services to the people. Then you talk of the theater here. People need to, we talk about work-life balance. Then the international airport road. Yes. In fact, I especially demanded for that years ago. When you compare the gateway to our international airport with what you see around the world, you must know that we must intervene there. I appreciate that. Then the bus terminals at yes. Oshodi, some have asked the questions about the economic value of Oshodi as yes. a place. I would have expected that the resources put into that, except we are looking at some years to come, should have been expended on impacting the lives of the people, graduating to that high impact level. Because as we speak now, you look at the state of roads and some other basic amenities in local communities, they call for drastic attention. But having said that, the promise of the president is welcome, because I know under the Nigerian Constitution, if you look at Section 16, right. it stipulates the fact that there must be affordable housing, affordable, available food, and life must be meaningful to the people.
All right, let's get Dr. Kere's perspective to this, because the governor is saying that we used our resources well.
Yeah, that for me, it could be true.
Could be. You have been in Lagos. You have seen what he has done so far.
Sometimes I even worry whether the entire Lagos is under his coverage, because where I live, the roads are terribly bad. Terribly bad. And I've once asked some of the journalists, do you even cover this area at all? When you do this this Lagos program, what do you call it now?
Inside Lagos.
Yeah, inside Lagos. Because sometimes the roads are terribly bad. So if you are now providing buses and you have a BRT corridor, what about the others? You know, except you are saying that I'm not saying it's not doing well. That's not the point I'm making. But I'm talking about looking at it generally. You know, to say that we've used the resources well, there is an interchange at Oshodi, when we do know that if you get to the schools, there are still a lot of challenges with them. Then for me, I think that would depend on who is doing the evaluation. Much has been done, no doubt, but not to the point that we are expecting, because we do know that Lagos, generates a lot of funds.
Of course.
Yes, and
but you knew the struggle that was involved before the state was able to achieve what it achieved with the road, the airport road, because there was a struggle between a federal government road.
There are many other projects that there is no struggle. The ones I'm talking about has nothing to do with federal. These are purely Lagos. Go to, I don't know if those areas are, like I said, under, because if you go to places like Shomolu and the rest of them, it looks like the people there are not Lagosians or something, because so many of the roads are bad. Go to, even within Surulere itself, apart from that central neighborhood that perhaps Fashola felt concerned about because his house is there, go inside. You'll be amazed that at these roads,
part of the Lagos roads.
I'm telling you, that is just the road aspect. I equally do know that.
But they have representatives.
They do, but those ones truly all they need to do is to bring it to the attention of the state. But we don't know if they have done that. Maybe
how
perhaps
have the people pushed towards meeting with the representatives to talk about this?
We've not really developed this culture of demanding accountability on our representatives. That is one thing. And unfortunately, too, most of them have now positioned themselves as contractors instead of representatives of the people who should present the needs of the people to the government, that this is the challenges in my area. And for me, I don't want to mention it, but I do know that there is a particular member House of Assembly whose office is on a road, and that road is equally very bad too. So I wonder whether he visits his office, the constituency office that they are, positioned, and those bad spots I'm talking about. The entire drains are blocked with all manner of, bottles and the rest of it.
Well, so we have a governor-elect now, so perhaps this you are making will be tabled.
Let's hope so too. Let's hope
before
so.
him. But then let's look forward now. The president setting an agenda now for the president, accessibility to health facilities and all of that, because like we said, there was a paper saying yesterday that some people sleep on the floors of the hospital, no hospital beds, and all of this. Now we have some projects that were commissioned. How accessible are they to people, even in the grassroots?
Yeah, I think what we need is life impact before the high impact. It can now be graduated. And how we advise, from the reports we are getting, we have a lot of leakages in our revenue drive and even the allocation of the revenue. For instance, I've read that the customs, NNPC, and some are coming together to fight smuggling. So who are the smugglers? You see, how much are we losing? We've read that in Zamfara State alone, we lose about 353 billion naira to illegal mining. And we have the capacity for about $2 billion revenue annually. You see, so I mean, we need to work on all these elements. I mean, you just mentioned the health sector, but the minister just told us that doctors who want to travel out can travel out. So do they care for the people? And constitutionally, there is a responsibility to protect lives and properties, provide for the people, and create an enabling environment.
Dr. Kerry,
yes,
the final one.
I'm really very concerned about the education sector and the health sector. Like Awo said, Papa Awo, if you must impact the lives of the people, that the people must be enlightened, they must be educated, and they must have sound health. Until you have, a sound, mind in the sound body, you will be able to actually perform optimally. So I expect that the government will focus on that area very seriously,
all right.
So that Nigerians will have access to education and healthcare.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your contribution on the newspaper.